let's get this call going. So today we are talking about and actually continuing our conversations from Friday regarding the buyer and the seller process and the amazing checklist that we received. So I am going to share the checklist into the chat box as we speak. And then you can then download it from here. Is there a way to upload it or share it?
I think it's just important that you must have a way of doing things when you go to a seller or a buyer, take a buyer out, so that you know what your sequence of your items that you want to discuss with them and paperwork, etc.
Yeah, and we're going to specifically start focusing on the seller process as we start today. And I think this is also going to help you to, as Peter said, the steps and not to get lost in the process, because yes, we feel overwhelmed, especially if this is very new to us, but it's actually not that difficult. And I think with practice, this will come easier.
Yeah,
Practice once again.
The more you do it, the more secure you will feel in yourself.
Yes.
The more value you will create.
Yes.
The more trust you will get.
Once again, we're back to value, being that fiduciary agent and not just being a functionary agent. So the very first step is when a seller lead comes in, is generated. Peter, how do you handle this part in your business?
Yeah, if you call come in from a seller, if I get a notification on my email, my plan is to phone them within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
With every lead that comes in.
Wow. Okay.
And then because that
you have a 5-minute rule.
I've got a 5-minute rule to myself.
I love it.
And a lot of time people tell me that this is the fastest they have ever received attention from an agent. And that puts you in the bracket from the beginning.
Yes. Now, well, look, if you are going to be the fastest fingers normally win. And this process can really help you to be that fastest one, to stand out above the rest. So this is all from the MREA, but we've put it into a nice summary for all of you. So I know that some of you have asked for the sheet, so just send me a WhatsApp. I'm going to share it today. I've actually got it ready. So the next one will be the initial qualification call. So when you speak to them, you're going to ask certain questions, Peter. It's like, and the goal for this is to cite the motivation, the timing, and the seriousness of your seller. So let's talk about these questions.
Yeah, there's a principle. List hard and sell easy. So you must ask all the difficult questions in the beginning. Why do you want to sell? When are you going to move? Do you already have another place that you're going to relocate to? Have you done any renovations in the past? Is your house plans in order?
Yeah, those building plans are important. Yeah.
Yeah. Are they registered? Is it as-built plans or is it plans of 40 years ago? And that's important.
All right, then we're going to, this is now when you set the listing appointment, the next step. So what is your pre-listing preparation? So before the appointment, what would you do, Peter?
Get my documents ready and already pre-fill my documents so that I come at the house, at the sellers, prepared, and I know the lifestyle, I know the area, I know where the sewage lines run in the area because I look on the Swahili website. I know the stormwater lines. I know if there's if you build over the building lines, I will know if the lapa and swimming pool is in a secret area that may not be there. All that before I go to the property.
Okay, perfect. And obviously you then also make sure that you do your homework about the pricing already here as well. All right, let's do the next part, the property walkthrough and the relationship building. I know we touched a little bit on this on Friday, but we want to give you a full session of doing the seller walkthrough. So if that talk us through that walkthrough.
I think it's quite important that the seller understand that you value their property and that you take your time and give attention to detail. If you walk through, first, if you arrive at the place, never refuse a cup of coffee, even if they're not going to drink a cup of coffee with them, that just
you're building rapport. Yeah, that's about building rapport. And some of the older people will maybe offer you something like Malta or something. You're going to have to sit and have it with them and be patient. Come down to meeting where they are.
And ask questions. The one who asks the questions is in control of the conversation.
There we go.
Ask questions, take a little booklet, walk through the house, write down as much as you can, only not for your reference, but also for their reference, because then they know you are taking them seriously.
And something that I want to remind you of, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You got to listen here. Active listening skills. Make sure that you hear and rather confirm that what you heard is what you heard than just assuming and talking in between. You give them here a chance to talk. You don't interrupt. You have 2 ears. So you listen way more than what you are going to be talking. You're just going to be asking the questions.
We tend to talk more than we listen. That is a big problem. And
Yes.
when you talk more than you listen, the people, the sellers will also think that you don't value them
Yes.
because you don't listen to what they say.
It's very, very, very important. All right. The next part is the pricing strategy and the market conversation. So how will you start this conversation? You've now sat down with them, you've done the walkthrough. So now you're going to have your pricing strategy and the market conversation.
Yeah, when I did my CMA, I first do my presentation, my listing presentation. And then if I'm finished with my listing presentation, then only then I talk about the finances and the CMA. Well, then they know who I am, what I'm doing, what my background is, how I work, and then we can discuss the CMA. And the pricing strategy, it's a big thing these days. To negotiate the price, to do price counseling is one of the biggest things, because we must always remember that the house that they lived in for the past 40 years is the best house in Pretoria.
Yes.
There's no better house.
It's the palace, remember?
Yes.
The seller thinks it's the palace. The buyers probably think it's like a shack. They're gonna offer a shack type of money. And then us as agents, we think it's just a house. It's just another house.
Yeah, it's not just brick and mortar, it's also emotions that they have to part with at some time. And that's an emotional struggle that they are in. So acknowledge that, and then give them facts about the pricing of the area, the Lightstone, what happened on Property 24, all these things, so that you give them facts and not emotions. And then you can discuss that with them.
And also remember our circle of trust. The very first part is that empathy. You got to listen to these emotions that they're having. You got to be patient with them regarding this. Their kids grew up in this property, most probably. They have memories in this property, and that's why there's emotions involved. And also remember, this is probably their biggest asset. You are looking after R1 million plus property.
Yes.
It's in your hands. So they got to trust you with this millions of them that they are putting in your hands.
I think the big thing is to let them know that you have a system and they are safe with you. You know what you're talking about, and they can trust you in the guidance of the build process.
Yes. And obviously you can go and make these your very own. It must sound like you. It mustn't sound like Peter. It mustn't sound like me. I like it when people want to sound like me, and Peter also likes it, but this is not about us. You must make it your own. So you must talk like who you are and what you are bringing to the table. All right, the next part is that presenting your marketing and service plan. So a marketing plan is extremely, extremely important because this is your promise to the client, and especially in an exclusive mandate. You have to have a marketing plan. And there's one in the MREA. You can go and look for it. And then, Peter, your marketing plan, talk us through how would you do this part, the presenting of it, and how you're going to service them.
Yeah, after you did your presentation, if you do your presentation thoroughly, people are 90% more willing to give you an exclusive mandate, because then they know you know what you're talking about. And after I've discussed the presentation, I will have a separate what do you call it? Marketing plan, sorry. Marketing plan.
Yeah.
Because the PRA also and our code of conduct also said that we must have a marketing plan if you have an exclusive mandate or a sole mandate. If you have a marketing plan, then the seller know exactly what they can expect.
Yes, and you can make this part of your listing presentation and leave a copy with it.
Yeah.
They must have a copy of your marketing plan. Yeah. Yeah.
That must be, yeah.
Yeah.
They can also look back at your marketing plan and phone you and say, listen, you're not doing this that you promised us.
Exactly. Yes.
And if you give them weekly feedback, then they know that you stick to your words, your marketing plan.
True. Through that. All right, let's go to the number 7. Now we have the mandate and the listing agreement, and then we've got a few more steps. So Peter, you want to get us to a quick 3 minutes closing here?
Yeah. Yes, I think once you've done the CMA, you take the pictures and you put that on the internet. You must send them a copy of the market of the advertisement on P24 so that they know exactly what is shown. Ask them if they have any changes that they want to make to the advertisement, and then you can honor that. And then it is not just waiting for sellers to call, but to actively advertise the property on social media, on other platforms, on your own website. Everywhere you can do that.